Joined by the man of the hour, Dave Heeke, right here, U of A athletic director. Saw him in San Diego yesterday, back in Arizona. Got some things going on right there. The life of the athletic director life. How are you doing there, Dave?
I'm doing great. A fantastic start to the NCAA tournament for our men last night and getting the W, and then off early this morning. And now I'm back in Tucson, and we're about ready to start the women's tournament in McHale. So excited for our big game at 7 o'clock tonight.
Dave, let me ask you this. How much sleep do you get during this time of the year? Be honest.
Hey, sleep is way overrated. If you're sleeping a lot, that means that we must not be doing the right things, or we want to be on the edge a little bit. So I will say this morning I'm a little this morning I was a little winded this morning. So I'm getting my second wind though.
Okay, Dave, first of all, let's talk about the restoration of Arizona basketball right to where it belongs. And I can't tell you how many fans came up to me and talking about Tommy Lloyd, talking about what's going on with Arizona basketball. And they said, I didn't know much about Tommy Lloyd. I didn't know what to expect with Tommy Lloyd. But, man, this happened way faster than anybody could have foreseen. Now, again, you're the man that hired him. And just tell me, when you hired him, were there any kind of, and I've asked you this before, but I had so many people ask me this, and I wanted to ask you again, was there any kind of time frame for the restoration back to being elite? Or, was it just we need to make incremental progress? What was that thought process like?
Well, I think, hey, we are an elite level program. I've said that. That's what our goal is. That's where we want to be. This was not a long-term plan or a long-term turn. We wanted to be competitive. We thought we had really good players still in the program. Thought, with the right person could come in with the right system and add to it. And we should be right back to where we need to be. And that's on the top. And so, it happened really quick, and Tommy's done an excellent job, just done a terrific job.
I had a guy from Wright State who was talking to me yesterday, and he was asking me a little bit. We were sitting in the media section. He was asking me a little bit about Tommy Lloyd, and I thought of you immediately with this. He says, I could watch this guy coach for hours. He said, watch him right there. Even when he gets on a player, there's this little smirk like, you know what? I got a joke for you at the end. And Dalen Terry and Benedict Mathurin talked about how he's the perfect combination of getting on you, but at the same time, he's also going to slap you on the butt, and he's probably going to hit you with a one-liner at some point. During the interview process, was that something that you picked up on with him? Because he really does have a unique demeanor out there.
Well, I think, as I've said many times, Tommy, what struck me was what a good guy this guy is. You want to be around him. It feels right. He's just genuine. He's straightforward. He's a salt of the earth guy. He cares about people. He does care about his players and cares about people. Coaching's a delicate balance. You want to demand the most out of your players, but you've got to allow them to understand that you're in it for them too, and you respect them. And whatever you're doing it for their best interest. And Tommy just has a great feel about that. And he'll make his points. He'll, like you said, he'll also, come back and usually put his arm around you. Right. He might have a quick little one-liner or a quick little thing to just kind of break the ice a little bit, just kind of settle things down. And that's what I love about him. He just is, and he generally always coaches from a positive angle. He kind of leads from that positive, makes his point. And hey, again, I don't want anybody. I think we've seen enough of him. He got a great competitive spirit in him. He can get after it now. But really has a good way about him with the players and with everyone.
Dave, you're a modest guy, so I'm going to say this, but something that I brought up multiple times to people there, Arizona basketball has now become a three-coach school. Now, you look at some of the great programs around the country historically, whether that's Georgetown, whether that's UNLV, they are more thought of with, a John Thompson or a Jerry Tarkanian, as opposed to being an absolute program. This hire of Tommy Lloyd right now, not that you didn't already know this, but this hire of Tommy Lloyd further cements Arizona as a program, not just a one or a two coach school. That, you know what, if you get the right guy in here, this is something that will not end right there. And again, I know you don't think about things in that term, but Dave, that's really not something that you can really minimize right there, having a man come in with this kind of success, because again, we've seen it at other schools where somebody struggles after that coach and they can't ever get it back. Tommy Lloyd has Arizona right back where they were.
Yeah, well, hey, let's not take anything away. This is a great program, Arizona, and what Lute did. You know how Sean continued that. Then it's that next chapter, and you know that with a program like ours, don't get me wrong, or you know don't think that I wasn't a little bit nervous. You know, we want to get the right guy that keeps it going, and that was what we were looking for, and that's what this program deserves. Our fan base deserves it. I think you're right. I think this, in many people's minds, solidifies us as a real blue blood. It's like, hey, This place is the real deal, and has brought so much attention this year back to basketball in the West too.
Right.
Between the Gonzaga thing and now Arizona, I mean, this thing, you know, kind of on fire in the West.
Right. How difficult was it for you during the time, you know, between the you know, obviously kind of the end of the Sean Miller time, and then Tommy Lloyd comes in right there. You know that you probably got the guy, but you also don't want to rush the process here. I think a lot of people are in this industry, or fans, they just want, okay, who's gone? I want this person. How difficult was it for you during that 8-9 day period where you're like, we got the guy, but you know what? We just got to make sure everything is, you know, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed.
Yeah, you know, you think about it, 7-8 days, and it kind of sometimes feels like a month, you know, or 2 months, and it just every day is like a week, and every week is like a month. So many moving parts, and that's what it is. You know, you have people, but there's a lot of players that are involved. Whether you talk about, you know, agents getting the right deals put together, making sure it's the right families, big decisions. You know, when it boils right down to it, guys got to make a decision that I want to go there, I want to work there, I want to try to. You know, I want to take that program over, and it feels right. So there's a lot of that goes into it as well. So you've got to, you know, kind of play the field a little bit, understand that there's multiple candidates involved. I think I've said this before, I'm on record. You know, we gravitated to Tommy really quick. After I met him, it was like, wow. But you still go through the process. You've got to make sure that you talk to some other people. And for me, it allows you to evaluate what you think you've got and what you think is right. And do a little bit of comparisons, and it just kept going back. Yep, that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be. So, but hey, you never know what could happen. Right. So you've always got to make sure that you've got everything put together. And then, like you said, hey, probably the last 12 hours or 18 hours is hectic.
Right.
You're really trying to pull it all off. You got to put the deal together. You got to get things signed. You got to make sure people don't decide at the last second, hey, I'm not going to do it, or something else is going to get in the way. So it is always crazy, but worked out great. Tommy was terrific to work with. Hence
why you look at all your different options right there. You might have the number one, but you got to have that just in case something falls through right there. Now, what kind of game, when you watch the games, Dave, are you a pacer? Are you a guy that can sit down and watch it? What is the Dave Heeke viewing experience like?
Well, I've been a couple. I'm not a good sit down in my seat, watch the entire game.
You didn't strike me as that type for sure.
I get a little uptight. I don't feel like I have any control over anything, which I don't. But it helps me when I might walk, get up. I might go find the restroom, wander around, do a couple loops around the arena. So I'll hide in a tunnel. I kind of do that a lot. I might get down in the lower level and hide along the edge of a tunnel and watch the game. So Liz, my wife, always says, yeah, there he goes. May not come back tonight. That might be the last time I see him until after the game. So that helps me a little bit. Helps some of my excitement and a little bit of that nervous energy.
All right, let's talk a little bit of Arizona women's basketball now. You're back in Tucson right now, obviously going to be at that. The amount of interest in Arizona women's basketball and the way that it continues to grow is unlike anything that I've really seen here in my time in Tucson. And I've been here pretty much, my entire life. And this is how has this thing grown so fast? Because you've got other successful women's programs across the country, but nothing, or not anything, but you've got a lot that don't garner this kind of fan support. I mean, you look at the numbers that they're expecting tonight, Dave, or at least you're hoping for. I mean, you could be looking at 10K right there. That is not something that is easy in women's college basketball at this stage.
Well, it's not. It's still, for as long as the sport's been around, I mean, I think it's still growing as a fan sport. From a fan perspective. And Look, we've been, the program's grown. Adia has really herself been such a positive force around the community, embracing the program, really embracing the community, asking for people to help, to come out, just take a chance on us, come and watch it. The thing really works. So it's just super exciting to see that. And again, I think people gravitate towards her, and then it just continues to build. And when people get there and they haven't seen women's basketball in a while, or they don't know the enthusiasm, the excitement, the raw energy on the court, the game has really grown itself. The players are certainly much more athletic and continue to get better and better all the time. And Adia has put a winning model in place. We win a lot of games, and that helps as well for people to get in there. But credit to Adia, because she is a rock star. She really gets after it. And we've got a tremendous recruits coming in next year as well. So this end of the year, we've had an injury. It's been kind of crazy, but we're gonna have a good night tonight. I think that's for sure.
Adia has a great Twitter game. She was asked in Las Vegas about name me, or there was a quote where she said, somebody asked her, name me a coach without an ego. And she said, I know when I work with him, his name's Tommy Lloyd. And that, to me, you've talked all the time about this family environment, everybody rooting for each other, everybody getting along. And Dave, to me, that encapsulated what you guys were going for.
Yeah, we've talked about that, Mike, and it's neat to see our coaches interact with each other, not take themselves too seriously. Hey, this is very important, and you've got to have some swagger. You got to have a little edge to you to make it work. But to see our coaches root for each other, our programs root for each other, our student athletes root for each other, that's what makes really solid athletic programs. And we've got it going in a lot of different areas. And I will say, from our women's side, this has been a place of a lot of success for women's athletics.
Right.
With softball, with our swim and dive, with our golf program, lots of really good programs from the women's side. And here we are in the 50th year, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX. And so that has built here, and that is a big part of our program. But yes, you're right. Our coaches do get along. They have a lot of fun with each other. I think Tommy still owes Adia a dinner here somewhere down the road.
Interesting. Well,
I forgot the bet exactly, but I do think Tommy still owes it. Whoever's going to lose the first game, I think, while they were rolling there early.
I think you're right. I think that is what the bet was. But you know what? It's one of those bets that you're always okay losing with, because that means you get to spend more time with somebody you like. Yeah. Okay. Before we let you sign off here, Dave, Jedfish. So out at spring practice, and again, I always tell people, I get people all the time that say wins or losses. I don't know wins or losses. I don't know what to, but I will tell you this. This team, just from a physical perspective, looks so much different just walking onto the field, going through drills than it did last year. And again, I know people will say, well, yeah, I mean, it should be. It's a different, it's a different team. Not like this. And again, when you look at that recruiting, and again, I always tell people football recruiting is so much different than basketball. These are still 18, 19-year-old kids. It's not like John Calipari can come and just bring 5 guys and you're immediately a Final Four. But you can see the progress on the field right there, Dave, just from the eye test of what you're looking at.
Yeah, no question. When you go out and look at the body types and the kind of players that we have out there, they do look different when they're running around and doing that. And that's a great development in our program of the young guys that have been around it for now a little over a year, and the great job that our strength and conditioning coaches do in developing that. I think we've benefited obviously in the kind of recruit, this new class that we brought in, a higher level player, and certainly a bigger, stronger player. Jed likes the longer, bigger players across everywhere. So that'll bode well. And yeah, it's and then we were able to capitalize on some really key transfers through the transfer portal, and it does look different. It does look different when we're running around out there doing drills, running 7-on-7, whatever we're doing. It looks a lot different, and I'm excited about that. Like you, I don't know how many wins we're going to end up with, right? But I think we have. You saw how hard our team would play last year. Mm-hmm. Never really quit, and it was very difficult, no question. Right. But never quit. Now with an infusion of some more skilled players. I just think there's such an opportunity. If we still have that great desire and energy and passion to play, good things are going to happen on the field.
And the thing that's different, though, is the players that you're looking at, a lot of these guys are freshmen who could still be in high school right now. So when you're bringing in an 18 or 17-year-old that looks already different, you say, man, you get him working with Tyler for a year, you get him working for 2 years. So again, you've got to be excited just by what you've been able to see on the field so far, because again, like we talked about, it's different.
100%. And again, you've been around the game enough. I mean, football is a very physical game. You've got to have big, strong players. You have to have a well-developed roster. You've got to be, you got to be ready to go compete every time when you're out there on the football field. And it's important. And again, our depth is getting better. And again, bigger and stronger and, better looking bodies. Now, again, no discredit for the guys that are here because they're great individuals, outstanding players, and they did so much. It's just the evolution of this program. And like you said, it takes a little longer in football. You just can't roll out 3 new guys, and that makes a huge impact in basketball. You've really got to develop players in football. All
right, real quick before we let you sign off, Justin Kokoski. You talk about a man that works 36 hours a week or 36 hours a day to get these guys healthy. Just watching him up close, watching him monitor Kirk Creason. Keep in mind, this is just what the fans can see. Watching that guy and how he must work with people must really be kind of a marvel to watch there, Dave.
Well, Justin's been here, a number of years.
Right.
Does a good job, has great relationships with our players, is so committed and dedicated, to Wildcat Nation, to our Wildcat program, to Arizona. Certainly Arizona basketball is his forte. He's been around. So he does great work. He's one of the best in the country. We're glad to have him. And yeah, most of it's been chronicled, although I don't see a lot of it on social media. I see it every once in a while. And, we chronicle all of that stuff on social media and credit Justin for, and that's just one of the things he does.
For sure.
With Kerr, it's just one player. And we've got, it is a long season and you've got bumps and bruises and aches and pains and, guys that get sick and he's just working it all the time. And he's got a little bit of that touch as well. And played well for us. He's a great member of our team.
All right, Dave, you're the best. You got a busy day ahead of you, my man. I appreciate you making about 15 to 20 minutes for us.
Love it. Thanks for having me, Mike. Anytime.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bear down. Back the A. That's Dave Heeke right there, one of the coolest dudes that you will ever meet, a guy that's always been really, really good to me. And I'm happy that everything is going so well because he's a guy that deserves it. All right, something else. The DraftKings Sportsbook app, code word PHNX. All right, here's the deal. You throw down $5 on an NCAA tournament game, and if that team wins, you get $200 in free plays. That's simple, that easy. Now, eligibility restrictions do apply. 21 and up, Arizona only. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Give you a perfect example right here. Let's say you're like, you know what? I want to get on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and I want to back the A. All right, so you want to back the A this way. Go and say, you know what? I'm going to pick Arizona to win against TCU tomorrow. You can get $200 in free plays if that happens. That simple, that easy. Okay, now you look at the state of the athletic department right now, and just look at it from where it was last year at this point. And that's where you got to give Dave a ton of credit right here because, you look at it and Dave's, it's easy. And I've talked about this all the time. It's easy to be the fan that just says, oh, I didn't like this hire or I didn't like this hire. But you know what? It's different, though. The athletic director is still the one that when things go right, it's not like he can spike the football. And when things go wrong, he's the one that has to take the blame. And that's why this isn't the easy job that I think a lot of people think it is, or just go hire so-and-so. Look at Tommy Lloyd, for example. Tommy Lloyd is a guy that I didn't know anything about him. I knew vaguely of Tommy Lloyd just through recruiting circles that had nothing to do with basketball. But again, that's also why I'm not an athletic director. If I was to come up with a list of 5, 6, 7 candidates to pick, I wouldn't have picked Tommy Lloyd. But that's also why I'm not getting paid to be an athletic director. Dave gets it. Same with Jed Fish. Say whatever you want. Jed Fish was a guy who had 8, 9 jobs over the past decade or something. Nobody looked at Jed Fish and said, that's a guy that could become a dynamic recruiter. That's a guy that could become one of the biggest, recruiters on the West Coast. Dave saw that. President Robbins saw that. So again, these guys were able to see into something that a lot of people didn't. And I think that's what makes these guys unique. So again, I think we're very fortunate to have the leadership that we have right here. And I think going forward, it's only going to be the same because you look at Arizona basketball, this squad isn't going anywhere. This year, everybody knows how good they are, obviously. But you know what? You look at that lineup next year, and you could potentially be looking at a lineup of Kirk Creason, a Kylan Boswell, a Dalen Terry, a Christian Coloco, an Adama Ball, and a Julius Tabellis. You just go on and on and on down the line. This is a team that, I know Sean, my guy Sean in the background, who does a great job producing everything. He's an ASU guy. Imagine being in Sean's position right now, having to, look at Arizona State basketball. And, obviously, everything ebbs and flows, but it just kind of shows you the difference. It shows you a little bit of an appreciation right now. Okay. Now, one thing that I do want to say, though, and I think that, okay, let's get to some questions right here. Where will Shane Noel fit into next year's team? That's a great question. I don't know. Adama Ball is certainly somebody that I don't know that he's going to start, but Adama Ball 100% is going to be a player that whether he starts, whether he play, wherever he may be, he's going to get a lot of minutes. Shane Noel is to me a little bit different because he is not kind of the no-brain talent that an Adama Ball is. You watch Shane, he's an okay shooter, he's a decent ball handler, he's a little bigger. He comes from basketball royalty, so that means a lot to me because I'm always a guy that when in doubt, I'm going to hedge and I'm going to bet on the guy whose brother was the Pac-12 Player of the Year and played in the NBA. But, I haven't seen enough yet, but that I also haven't seen a lot, though. So he's kind of a wild card for me. Adama Ball is going to get a lot of minutes next year. Anthony Humbert just put that out there. This is going to be a guy that I think is going to play, 20, 25 minutes a game next year. So, he's starting bro at the 2. I agree with you on that one. And so if you're looking at a lineup of Adama Ball, Dalen Terry, Kirk Kriisa, Ajulis Tabellas, Christian Coloco, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that, America out there. Good luck with that at the Pac-12. But that lineup is very much a possibility. And by the way, I didn't even mention Umar Ballo. So again, one thing too that I also do need to tell you guys all about again, and then we're going to get to some women's basketball and to some football here before we sign off. But the DraftKings Sportsbook app, code word PHNX. Throw down $5 on a tournament game, and you get $200 in free plays. New customers only, though. Again, PHNX code word, and you get $200 in free plays if that team wins. Again, Arizona's playing TCU. You're saying, you know what, Mike? I want to back the A, but how can I possibly back the A? Well, there's 2 ways to back the A right here. Back the A with your own financial winnings by getting on the DraftKings Sportsbook app and giving to the U of A. That's simple. Again, DraftKings Sportsbook app. All right, some women's basketball going on. My guy Matthew Bothwell is going to be showing up right there. I think he put it very well when he says we need to keep, let's see, where's that remark? We need to keep Adia Barnes here forever. Matthew, or excuse me, LA Shadow, sorry, getting all you guys confused right now. But, and I know Matthew says the exact same thing. Absolutely right. Adia Barnes is an absolute treasure, and this administration and this coach, and everybody around, I think, has taken care of her. He's a guy that, she's a coach that I don't know that there's anybody better in the country, big picture. Is there? Is there anybody that you would look at and you say, yeah, I'd rather have her or I'd rather have him? I mean, Gino Auriemma, he's getting up there in age, but that's the kind of caliber of talent we're talking about. We're talking about the Dawn Staleys. We're talking about the Adia Barnes. So we're going to have a post-game show tonight, live from San Diego, talking about the Arizona women's basketball team. Very much looking forward to this one as well. It should be a really, really good time. So I hope you all do tune in there. Jacob, if you're listening right now, I guess that's another stream I probably should have told you about the Saul hit me with this morning, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a really, really good time. And again, real quick, football. If you haven't made it out to a spring practice, you should, because the team does look different. It's hard to explain, but you go out there and it just looks different. It feels like the kind of team that, again, it's not a top 25 team, but it feels like a team can win five games. And let's be honest, when you're on a 18-game losing streak, whatever the case may be, you win 1. If you can win 4 or 5, that is upward momentum. That is going forward, and that is something that we should all be able to get behind, because then you start looking at year 3 of Jed Fish, and you're like, okay, maybe we push this to 7. Maybe we push this to 8. That's the kind of stuff you're talking about right here. All right, let's get to some other comments right here. LA Shadow, don't sleep on KJ Lewis out of El Paso. He is a stud, but KJ is not going to be here till the following season, though. He will not be on next year's roster. So again, that is the epitome of a case where Tommy Lloyd obviously knows what he's doing in the recruiting game right there, bringing in 2 5-stars in Kylan Boswell and KJ Lewis. Big stuff right there. All right, what else also is big stuff is go PHNX. Go there, get the membership. You get a free T-shirt. You get some different stuff in there. They got some stickers, all kinds of cool stuff. And you get the best coverage of everything across the state, from the Coyotes to the Diamondbacks to the Suns to the Cardinals to the Sun Devils to the Arizona Wildcats, basically everything. But everybody down there behind the scenes is very good. My guy Sean DePaz right there, one of the best you'll find. But again, everybody, can't thank you enough. Dave Heeke, you are the man. I'll be talking with you next week, and we start working on a little bit of a Dave article right there. But again, for everybody, can't thank you enough. We will be back with you tonight breaking down some Arizona women's basketball. So for all the comments, guys, appreciate all of you. Sean back there, appreciate you. I'm Mike Luke. We'll talk to you tonight. You've been listening to the AZ Wildcats podcast.